What's up guys, Justin Greenwald here with 65drums.com. Today I'm doing a review of the DDrum Redshot single zone trigger. This is a really interesting cheap drum trigger. I found it on eBay for like 16 bucks. I picked it up, I thought, what do I have to lose? And I've had a whole lot of fun testing it. Before I tell you my thoughts on it, I'm just going to show you some footage of me testing it on a 1-ply, a 2-ply, and a 3-ply mesh drum head. Also, I'm going to show you some footage of me playing it on a Mylar drum head as well. After that, I'll show you how to mount it on the drum and all that stuff too. So as you can see, this trigger performs really well, even though it only costs 16 bucks. It even worked on this Remo Silent Stroke 1-ply mesh head. Even though this is a 14-inch sonar snare, it still worked reasonably well. Right now, I'm going to be using it as a secondary floor tom. You wouldn't want to use this as a snare trigger on a 1-ply mesh head for two reasons. One, this is only a single zone, so you'll never get any rim shot or rim click sounds, obviously. But secondly, 1-ply mesh heads, they don't have the greatest trigger response anyway, so you'll want to go with like a 2 or 3-ply for the best accuracy. This trigger is about as simple as they come. You get the metal housing right here, so if you accidentally hit it with a stick, I don't think anything's going to happen to the drum trigger. It'll be fine. And then you've got the piezo and the foam right here. And then you have a 1/4-inch input right here, so you don't need any special cables or anything. You just plug this straight into your drum module. There is another version of this trigger, the original version, where it's got actually an XLR input. I know, it doesn't quite make any sense. But yeah, that was the original version. It costs more money and it mounts a different way on the drum. I'll show you that in a second. So all you gotta do is take out one of the screws, and then there's a little hole on the DDrum trigger, and you just line it up, if I can do that. Everything's harder on camera, people. You just screw it on. Again, DDrum says put it at like a medium tension. Make sure that it's not pressing too hard against the drum head. And now you just take your 1/4-inch cable, plug one end to here and the other end into your drum module. Extremely easy to set up. There's almost no wrong way to do it. So obviously this trigger is not perfect because it doesn't work very well with Mylar acoustic drum heads. I could be wrong, maybe I'm doing something incorrect, but with no muffling it double triggered a lot. And I was in the drum module adjusting the mask time, the sensitivity, all that stuff, and I wasn't getting an accurate trigger response. However, if you use a really heavy muffling on the resonant and the top head, you will get a better trigger response, a much better trigger response. But if the idea is just to have this clip on to your acoustic drum set really easily and then have the option of having electronic sounds, that's not going to work, because you're going to be adjusting the tuning of your drum to accommodate this trigger. Because since they don't want you to screw it down very hard, that means if you were going to have this tom be really high pitched, you can't do that, and you're going to have to detune it just for the sake of using this drum trigger. There are previous versions of this drum trigger that are a little bit more expensive that have the XLR input, and those actually just clip on like somewhere right here. You don't actually take out the screw right here. It just screws on right here, so you don't actually adjust the tuning when you want to put that drum trigger on the drum head. Maybe pick up that if you want to use this on your acoustic drum heads. I know in those comparison videos everything wasn't fair because I was using different mesh head sizes. Like this is a 10-inch 2-ply mesh, and this is a 14-inch 1-ply, and then the 3-ply was a 12-inch, I believe. But as you can see, it works a lot better with a 2 and a 3-ply. One other quick thing, you may have to adjust where the trigger is placed when you're doing your conversion, because if you hit with your stick over here and you have the DDrum trigger way over on this side, let's say if it's a 14 or a 16-inch head, try to screw this on like a little bit closer to where your sticks would naturally hit, so you'll probably get a bit of a more accurate trigger response. You don't have to put it right where you're going to hit, just get it a little bit closer. And for me, since it's just on this snare stand, I can just literally just rotate it. But if you're on a budget and you just want to get like $15 1-ply mesh drum heads, you can do that, and you can do all of your toms for really, really cheap. Again, I wouldn't recommend using this DDrum Redshot trigger as a snare trigger because you don't get that rim zone. This is a single zone trigger. The trigger response is not quite as perfect as a more complicated triggering system where there's a cone directly underneath the center of your drum head. For what this thing costs and for what it offers, it is an excellent drum trigger, and if you're just trying to save some money and you want to use this on your toms of your acoustic to electronic conversion kit, I think it's worth picking up. I have a whole lot of fun using it, and I'm going to continue to use it in my regular setup as a secondary floor tom. I like having this larger playing surface. Right now, I'm using this as a secondary floor tom, and just switching to something a little bit larger for a while, I think I'll enjoy that a lot. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I make a new video about electronic drums every single Sunday, sometimes an extra one in the middle of the week. Best way to keep on top of all that is to subscribe. I've got my drum covers on Instagram. I got my channel news on Facebook. I'll see you guys next video.